Hello and welcome to the first video in my series instructing how to play my game Cockroaches, Copper and Cows. This video is an introductory one which will give an overview of the setting at the beginning of the game and the gameplay. Other ones will deal with certain aspects in more detail. No doubt by now you've received a gigantic set of rules and a briefing material in the post. Reading this will no doubt enrich your life, but it's not absolutely necessary to play the game, although it will help. You won't be tested on it, and you should be able to learn the rules from the play sheets and learning through play and watching these videos, if that suits you better. The gameplay starts out quite simple and gets more complicated, so you should be able to learn sort of on the fly, as it were. The political situation at the start of the game is that General Huerta has seized power in a coup against President Madero after Madero failed to reconcile competing interests, the revolutionaries who had put him into power and the old reactionaries who had not opposed his power seizure, and also revolutionaries who were looking for a political agenda rather than a personal one. So he couldn't find enough jobs for the boys, and he didn't actually make political changes. So your role as players is to make these political changes, or to get yourself a position of power in the new regime, which we'll put in once you've overthrown General Huerta, assuming you manage that tricky task. You are all playing Mexican politicians or generals, or really generals with political ambitions, and are sort of hybrid roles. So everyone will be slightly out of their normal comfort zone, I expect, which is a challenge for you. You have different objectives as to whether you prioritise your own political position, your own power after the game eventually ends, or whether you want to institute political reforms to benefit the Mexican people as a whole. And hopefully this will provide an interesting set of interactions. The game is played in a series of turns which are half an hour long, the first half of which is a campaign phase where people move to these maps and do various operations, perform various operations, and the second half is a negotiation phase, which is mostly sort of free negotiation, but there is a game concept called conventions, which formalise certain interactions you can do in these to represent sort of political wheeler dealing a bit more. The game itself is played on several of these maps, on 5 maps like this. This is the one called North Central, so North Central Mexico. The north end of it is the USA, so the red line is the United States border. The area covered by this map is quite large. Chihuahua there, which is a state, the state there in northern, which covers most of this map down to that pink line there, is about the same size as Britain. So the area is quite large, and the federal garrisons on the map represent a few thousand troops, so they're spread rather thinly. The map itself is split into various areas, which are either squares, like Cuauhtémoc, a town, town squares, and it's garrisoned by some federals and has a tiddlywink of wealth, which is how much assets there are to seize to fund the revolution. Wilderness areas, like this one here, have a rebel base, and all the circles of wilderness areas. All areas, towns and circles are linked by trails, the brown lines, and the towns are also mostly linked by railways, which are the black and white lines. Industries in the wilderness here are either US owned or Mexican owned, which affects how annoyed the Americans are if you take control of them. And, well, as I say, each revolutionary player will start with a base in the wilderness, like this. They have some more counters to deploy later, like these ones, which are garrisons, or which are effectively control markers, and brigades, which are supplement the strength of the garrisons they deploy. They'll also have a badge with a picture on it, and this has a tracker for their support, which represents their political and military support, all combined into one value. And it's tracked with a paper, as you see. Players might also have money, which is tiddlywinks, which they will keep in their pockets if they have any. The US and the press were going to be played, but because of a slight shortage of numbers, they are going to be umpire roles in a umpire role sense, in that they'll actually play against you a bit, but they are still actually controlled. They're still neutral, really, although they may not seem that when they're playing their characters. I think I've covered everything I wanted to do. Oh, well, in the operation, covering the map and the general overview. So I will now switch to other things and say goodbye.